So today, finally, we are replacing the backup camera. A lot of you guys have requested I do this video for a very long time. My camera's been out for like 3 years now, a little over 3 years. But it's a very common problem on these cars. So a lot of you have requested that I do a kind of a how-to, even though I don't really know how to do it. But I was able to acquire a used OEM camera from a Genesis that was in a front-end collision because a brand new one from Hyundai is very expensive. I was able to acquire a used one for like $85, and I'm just gonna kind of jump into it. I have no idea what I'm doing. I've read like half of a post on a forum, so you're gonna watch me learn as you guys learn. This fell out of somewhere. Don't know from where. It's like a little bumper stop. So funny. So behind the trunk liner, it's not painted, or it's just primer. They kind of stopped painting it where the liner kind of covers up. Good on you, Hyundai, saving every penny everywhere you can. So, judging by the camera that I'm replacing, it looks like this. Okay, so it's this here. This is the connector. So what I'm gonna do is unplug it and plug it back in and see if that works. I mean, can't hurt to try. Didn't think that was gonna work. Okay, so it doesn't look like we can pull the camera from the grommet hole because it is up here and integrated into here. Don't mind the lack of lens cover, but to get back there to the mounting bolts, we have to take the shell of the trunk off. So this piece here has to come off, and in order to do that, we've got to take the inside of the taillights out, which means we have to unplug a bunch of connections in here. And because we're unplugging a bunch of connections, just to be safe, I'm going to undo the negative battery terminal on the battery, and then we can start unplugging stuff. And the most stressful part of this is prying the shell of the trunk off. So let's do it. Also, I found where this little grommet thing goes. So here's one here. So it goes up on the other side where there's like a little channel there, so that just pops in like that. There we go. Also, for reference, there are a total of 14 of these plastic screws / clips and one metal screw that holds the handle to close the trunk. Okay, so also, the battery's disconnected, so don't close your trunk after this point. I've opened up all the windows just in case I make a mistake, but to take the taillights out, or the inside of the taillights, there's 3 bolts. 1, 2, 3, I believe. And you just unplug on the back. Yeah, so there's a push tab on the back. Push that down and pull, and remove these. I think they're 10 mil or 8 mil. Yeah, they're 8 mil. 3 8 mil bolts takes off each each inner part of the taillights. This one's very tight. I feel like it's rusted because this one is, you see right there, that one's quite rusty. It looks like there's a little bit of rust right here too. Yeah. So this one's not coming out. Got to figure that out. Yeah, this is very rusty. For some reason, it's like the other side was just fine. But so the outside of those nuts are plastic, and the interior is metal. So the threads are metal. The outside is just, it's, I feel like it's seized by some rust and I can't get it off. And the outside of this is malleable, so it's like bending and morphing around the socket and it's slipping. So I've got to figure out how to get a good grip on that without completely destroying it. Nice. Well, it destroyed the rubber cap. At least that exposes the nut now. Plastic covers for them not to rust, but obviously it doesn't fucking work if it's rusted. And I just scratched the shit out of this too. So these nuts are considerably smaller, of course. Why would they be the same size? So it's an 8, whereas the rubber caps are a 10. Wow, that is, oh, well, it is rusted to shit and it just snapped. Fucking A. It's so weird that one side rusts and the other doesn't. It's also, it was like torqued down quite a bit. It's like cracked. That sucks. So I'll just show you here. So this is the right side tail light, and this one's like, it's got quite a bit of rust on it. Also, this is broken. And that's where the nut to hold it in snapped, which is so bizarre because this one is like barely rusted at all. This is the left side. I don't know, maybe this was replaced at some point in its life. I mean, not in my ownership, but there's rust here as well. And it looks like rust juices. Yeah, I don't know. This is probably not cheap to replace either, but. All right, now that the taillights are out, or broken, we've got to take the outer shell of the trunk off. So, I don't know exactly how to do this. So we will learn together. All right, so this is pretty good timing. A buddy on Instagram just told me how to do this part as I was going to tackle how to do it. So let's see, can you see in there? So in there are 4 of those yellow things. So right above my hand. So in there, that yellow piece needs to be compressed with some pliers and pushed up, and there's 4 of them, and apparently once they're all depressed and cleared, you can pull the liner out. So that's what we're gonna do. Don't do that. Broke it. Okay, so here's the thing. So there's two, well, amongst those two, there's a shit ton of clips holding this shell on. There's two yellow, like, main clips, one here and one here. So the one over here is easy to get to. You can see it, you can touch it, you can feel it. On the other side, you can't, there is no way, you can barely see it, you can barely get to it. I'm assuming specialty, really long, thin, strong needle nose will get there, but there really isn't a way to get to that. And considering that the tail light, well, not this side because I broke it, but the tail light will hold this side of the shell in. I'm just gonna go ahead and pry this. I'm not trying to make this a 12-hour job, and I don't think, oh, so you wanna undo that clip and pry up while you decompress the accessible yellow clip. Oh, Harbor Freight pry bar. This is ridiculous. What is happening today? This is supposed to be an easy job. Oh. Okay, well, I don't know if it broke, but so while I'm prying up on the shell, I'm going to decompress the yellow clip and push it through. So all the other clips kind of pop out pretty easy. This is very frustrating.
Your heavy eyes overrated. Anchored me down, but they saved me. With the love.
Okay, so you gotta undo.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out now. I want you only in my life, starting right now. You can feel what I feel now. Singing all these questions that I have for you now. Sing, what is love? What is promise? Be your man, be your slave. What is promise? What is love?
It's really annoying. It's really rusty back here. I'm not surprised that the camera went out. It's like very rusty. It's a bunch of sand from my recent adventure as well.
Sing it, what is love? What is promise? Be your man, be your slave. What is promise? What is love? Can it promise?
Yeah, so I broke two of the yellow clips. I don't know where the other one went, but this.
Keep you warm, to keep you safe.
So first, let me show you how rusty it is back here. I'm not surprised that the camera went out. I mean, a lot of water gets back here. Every bracket is like rusted, every bolt, screw. I mean, the camera doesn't have a chance back here. I'm not even convinced that this new one will last very long. Yeah, so like the left side of the opening for the taillight is fine, and the right side is just rusted. Like all the bolts are rusted. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get those out. So this is the trunk lid, that's the painted part, and the camera is attached, and you can just see all of the corrosion, the rusted bolts. I mean, this thing had no chance. So there's the camera here. That's how it's mounted. I'm not even sure those are going to come off. Looks like two. So that one I expected to come off. This one not so much. Gotta be careful with that. doesn't want to come out. Don't want to do this, but I don't have a choice. Let me use an impact hammer. So yeah, I've tried everything. Vice grips, penetrating fluid, impact hammer. It's not coming out, so I have no choice. Hot. And it's out. This was so corroded that the screw holding it in fused with the bracket on the camera. So, I mean, I don't blame this thing for failing. This, wow. Holy crap. It's actually, it corroded a hole in it, in the camera. Look at that. Look at, I can stick a fucking screwdriver in the camera. That's insane. So that's why it failed. Drilled it out, wasn't working, and I just cut it through. Don't know if I have a screw that'll fit in here, hopefully. Let me put some tape on it first. I don't know exactly. Just going to try to seal this up just a little better than. There we go. Just a little extra protection. Hopefully that works. Hopefully it's aligned too. I didn't even think about that. Probably why the mounting points are like that, so that it's aligned. I don't know. I just want to get this over with. Yeah. Alright, so what I'm going to do is connect the camera back, just pull the grommet through. I'm going to plug this back in and reconnect the battery to see if I have a camera again. Alright, moment of truth. Let's do this in one take. Alright, here we go. Just let it start up. Alright, putting it in reverse. Oh my god. We have a camera. It is so weird to see. Alright. So it worked. Obviously there was a hole in the old camera. So we fixed the camera, but we broke about 2 or 3 other things. So I'm just going to reassemble this. 2 out of 3. Hopefully it doesn't rattle or, even worse, come off. Before I put the trunk liner in, I'm just going to make sure everything works. So I'm going to reconnect the battery. Okay. Trunk release works. Reverse lights work. And we've got our camera back. Oh man, it has been too long. Whoa. Alright, so it's been about a week. I figured I'd drive the car for a little bit before I report back to you guys. So I haven't noticed any rattles from that mishap with the passenger side taillight, so that's a good thing. And also the camera still works, but obviously it hasn't had enough time to withstand the elements in the winters, because that seems to be the kryptonite of these cameras, because you guys saw it corroded a hole in it. So we'll see, time will tell, but all in all, I will say this is a pretty simple project if you don't have to deal with rust. That was my biggest setback, is, you know, rusty parts not coming off and things like that. Also, the clips. Knowing what I know now, if I were to do this over, honestly, and I'm not suggesting this, but personally, what I would do, I looked up those clips, they're $2 a piece. So honestly, I would just break them and get replacements, and when I go to reinstall it, just put 2 new clips in. It makes the job a hell of a lot easier, and you don't have to worry about not breaking them because they're super cheap. So that's what I would do if I were to do this over. And you know, you save a bunch of money doing it yourself. So I can't imagine that the dealership would charge less than a new camera if you do it yourself, because I think a brand new camera is like 220 bucks. Obviously I got mine used. It's probably the more budget way to do it, because I got mine for 85. But yeah, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down below. I'll answer every single one of them. So if you're going to go do this, I'll kind of walk you through it if you have any questions. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I'm stoked to have my rear view camera back after 3 long years. So yeah, enjoy these bloopers. The tip broke. It broke. What is this project today? You want to be careful. Oh, just like that. Not to scratch any part of your paint. Ah. Ah. This project is kicking my ass. You try to replace one thing, you do it, and then you got to replace the next. It's like life. Full circle.